What is the current strategy to fight cyber attacks like the one of a few weeks ago, which was very strong?
Well, I think we work on different dimensions. One of them, and that's an important one, is to have all kind of incentives for example, SMEs and individuals to defend themselves. First of all, to defend themselves, but secondly, also to report. What we see today is that too often, when people have a problem, they try to hide it, which is, first of all, a problem for the data that they have, but also it's harder for us to intervene if we do not know what is happening. So we are opening a call center that will be open 24/7, where especially SMEs can get advice on what is going on and how they should defend themselves. Based on that, we're also building something called the early warning system. Early warning system is trying to survey what is going on in, for example, in Belgium, and warns in advance operators of critical infrastructure, for example, telecoms and utilities, if something is happening and if they should be careful. And then we are beefing up something called the Cybersecurity Center, which plays a coordinator role, because we see that there's actually a lot of things going on in the private sector which might have good information, but there is need for one entity that centralizes all the information. Now, can we pretend to be 100% sure, safe? No. Cyber attacks will continue to happen. What is important is that we know about it and that we can intervene when something is happening, and that people protect themselves with basic measures which can already make a big difference.
Do you think we should cooperate also with other countries like US, China, Japan?
Yes.
It's a global fight.
It's a global fight. I think within Europe there is already a good coordination happening. But I think that cooperation on the global level, we Europeans obviously believe in it. There seems to be some different thoughts on the other side of the Atlantic, which I think is sad, because these types of challenges, we will only solve them if we work together. And we see, for example, with China, a strong willingness to work together on these types of topics.
For the digital single market discussion in Europe, what's your idea of this discussion? What we should do?
Well, I think that Commissioner Ansip and Oettinger have been doing a lot of good things over the last years, and the fact that, for example, we abolished roaming and so on is an important one. However, we still have a long way to go. If you are a digital entrepreneur today, you will see that copyright law is different in every country, the VAT law is different in every country. You will see there is data localization laws that start to pop up. So there's still a lot of legislation which today is hampering the digital single market. We Europeans have the biggest market in the world. We have a market with more than 500 million potential consumers and users, which is much bigger than the United States. But today it is not enough one market. So we are doing good work, but we still have a long way ahead.
You control also telecommunication. How can we control effectively telecommunication in order to avoid the terrorist attacks? Because we see that terrorists are using a lot telecommunication networks.
Yes, but like always, technology can be used in a good way and technology can be used in a bad way. Unfortunately, today cars are being used as a murder weapon, and we do not say we should stop using cars, of course. So what we need to do is take measures, but for me the yardstick on measures is three elements. The measures needs to be focused, and needs to be focused on the people who we think there is a problem. Avoid targeting everyone, but focus it on a certain public. It needs to be measures which are by definition limited in time, when you see that there is a problem. And third element, the measures needs to be implemented under the authority of a legal system, of a judge saying, okay, we will do this, but not just an administration or a security administration. If you follow these three elements, I think we can do a lot of things. But what I do not accept is that we should be monitoring everyone and do mass surveillance because someone might have done something wrong. We have always had the possibility to monitor someone when we think he's a suspect. But monitoring everyone continuously basically means that everyone is a suspect. And that I think is directly against any of the human rights laws which we have.
And you are coordinating with Mr. Jambon?
Yes, we're coordinating on this, and we sometimes have different perspectives, but we find each other. And we find each other in taking measures which we think are reasonable and are effective.
somebody is blaming Facebook, Twitter, all the WeChat, all these tools. Do you think we should control a little bit better? We should a little bit because these are sometimes the vehicles of communication.
Well, look, I think that we can do things along the rules that I said, focused, temporary in time, and checked by a judge. But you know, the telephone has always been used 99.9% for good reasons, but sometimes for bad reasons. Have we ever said that because of that it was necessary to monitor all telephone calls? No, of course we didn't. The question today is not so much that we need more data. The question today is that we are better at understanding the intelligence that we already have. Most of the terrorist attacks, even looking at what happened in Manchester and London over the last days, unfortunately, those people, we knew them. We knew who they were, and we were not able to monitor them. Should we then start monitoring everyone? I don't think so.
And with the European Union, which is your message, both on terrorism and cyber attacks? How is your cooperation with Europe? Because now we have to work all together.
I think that the Trump election was a blessing because it woke everyone up. It woke everyone up, and some people said this is the end of the European project. Well, quite the contrary. The elections in the Netherlands, in France, and will be in Germany as well are very pro-European. I think people woke up and said, we think this European project has a value added. And some people say, well, do you need less Europe? No. Everyone is convinced that you need more Europe. What you need less is less administration, less overhead, less bureaucracy. And that, I think, is a valid argument.
And the last question, what's always about the digital agenda? What is your personal project that you would like to develop as Belgium in the future? Because I can imagine that as a minister you have an agenda.
Well, we have a lot of things on which we are working. But what we have launched today, the electronic identity card, which has been transposed to your smartphone, is quite unique in Europe. What we have been doing up to now, and it is something that we can export to other countries, and maybe we will be able to have this as an exporting product.
You have other contacts with other countries already that are interested?
Look, it's developed by the private sector, so sometimes you will just need to let the private sector do what they're good at.